We all have our inner dragon, that part of us that controls our doubts, our fears, and our regrets. When we wrestle with it, several transformations could take place. We control the dragon and be turned into beings of greater understanding. Or we crush the dragon underfoot as it sinks its fangs into us and drips venom into our souls. But what happens if we embrace the dragon? What happens when we become the dragon? This being is an example of such an event. He is known by many faces and has walked many paths. This is the story of transformation. This is the story of Darth Krayt. Asherad Het was born on the planet Tatooine. Under the blazing suns, Asherad was born to a tribe of Tusken Raiders, the ruthless desert dwellers that hunt through the dunes. Asherad's father was Sherad Het, the legendary Jedi hero who left the Order in a failed attempt to find his family. Schooled in both the ways of the Tusken warrior by his clan and the ways of the Jedi Order by his father, Asherad became known among the clans as a true force to be reckoned with. With the aid of the Force, Asherad and his father drove back the raiders who were plundering Tatooine and striking fear into the very hearts of the gangsters who controlled the lands. However, as their exploits became more well known, the Tuskens were eventually brought to the attention of the Jedi, who recognized Sherad Het and dispatched Jedi Knight Ki-Adi-Mundi to see if the old Jedi Master's heart was still pure. At the same time, though, Aurra Sing, the notorious bounty hunter, was dispatched as well. Though Ki-Adi saw no evil in Sherad or his son, he still saw that the harshness of Tatooine had made Asherad a very aggressive warrior, and he feared what the boy could become. It was during this time that the clan came under assault by the Hutt's raiders, with Aurra Sing leading the charge. Though the clan fought valiantly, the sheer numbers of the raiders eventually overwhelmed the tribe. Mundi was able to save Asherad, but was unable to stop Sherad from being killed by Sing. Seeing his father killed, Asherad's rage erupted, his inner dragon bursting forth and seizing Aurra by the throat. But before he could deal a death blow, Ki-Adi reeled him back, begging the young man not to give in to his rage unless he be consumed by it. Asherad hesitated and Aurra escaped. As Sherad lay dying, he told his son how proud he was of him and gave Asherad his blade. He then made Ki-Adi-Mundi swear to teach his son and complete his training. Mundi accepted, and Asherad swore an oath to both Mundi and the Jedi Order, proclaiming them his new clan, and thus marked Asherad's transformation from Tusken warrior to Jedi Padawan. But even as the two new master and student left the desert, Asherad's dragon still stirred, hungry for revenge. After Asherad was brought to the Jedi Temple, the idea that he was in a whole new world set in almost immediately. There was no deserts, no bloodthirsty raiders, and the constant struggle for survival of a Tusken was replaced by the quiet meditation of the Jedi. Asherad soldiered on, though, determined to do right by his father's memory. It was during this time that Asherad met Anakin Skywalker, another recent arrival from Tatooine. In him, Asherad found a faint kindred spirit, though the meetings between the two would be very few and far between. Asherad and Mundi faced many trials over the years. After Mundi was named a master, he and Asherad took on even more dangerous missions. However, while on a mission to protect a Corran senator, Asherad was confronted once again by Aurra Sing. Aurra, hired to kill the senator, recognized Het and desired to claim his father's lightsaber. As the two engaged, Aurra taunted Het, proclaiming him weak and his master weak, and his father a failure. Rage erupted from Asherad like no other, the dragon clawing its way to the surface, empowering Het like never before. He screamed in anger, and Aurra was overwhelmed. However, before the Jedi apprentice could destroy the bounty hunter, the dragon subsided, and Het pulled himself back. Ashamed of his actions, Het offered Ki-Adi-Mundi the chance to devow him as his apprentice and return him to Tatooine. However, Jedi Master Anya Kira, who was known by many as the Dark Woman and was Mundi's first teacher, approached Het with an alternative. Knowing that darkness exists in all beings, Kira offered to train Het along with Mundi to control his inner darkness and help guide him to the path to knighthood. Asherad accepted, and the three returned to Coruscant. Over the next decade, Asherad trained tirelessly with his masters. As Ki-Adi-Mundi trained his body, Anyo trained his mind, teaching him to control his inner rage and turn it into a weapon of brightest light. Asherad grew in both skill and understanding and was eventually elevated to the status of Jedi Knight. He was even given his own apprentice, a Kintan named Bat Jewel, who, like Asherad, shared a deep connection to the desert. For a time, it seemed Ashrad had lived up to his father's legacy. He was an accomplished Jedi and a revered warrior among the Order. However, the dark side is always present, and no amount of training can permanently extinguish a dragon's flame. All it takes is one decision to transform the noblest of warriors into the vilest of killers. Or, in Ashrad's case, one decision and one war. Like all Jedi of his age, Ashrad was sworn into becoming a general in the Clone Wars, the galaxy-spanning conflict that pushed many of the Order's greatest warriors to their limits. Though a warrior at heart, Ashrad and his apprentice spent much of their time at the Jedi healing centers, healing injured clones and Jedi. It was there he once again came into contact with Anakin Skywalker, who had just arrived from a series of conflicts on the storm world of Jabim. Something had changed in Skywalker, though. Instead of the good-hearted kindred spirit he had known him as, now Anakin looked at him with disdain and prejudice, like Ashrad's very existence was an insult to the young man. At first, Ashrad thought it was just the grueling intensity of war getting to the Jedi apprentice, but later thought otherwise. After a few days of working at the medbay, Ashrad, Bat, and Anakin were taken to the world of Argonar to assist Ki-Adi-Mundi and Boltar Swan in quelling a conflict. Little did Ashrad know that this was the last time the three beings would see each other the same way again. The three Jedi fought on Argonar for several grueling weeks. In an ensuing battle, Bat was killed, dying in Anakin's arms. Had accepted his student's death, though, as the desert was his and Bat's people's ways. Anakin chastised Het, though, and the Tusken was more concerned for Skywalker's well-being. During a raid at their hiding spot, Het was attacked by an enraged Anakin, who was tormented by nightmares of his failings. During the ensuing struggle, Anakin revealed to Het his gruesome massacre of the Sand People, who killed his mother just before the war. After subduing Skywalker, Ashrad knew the only way the two could survive was to work together, and the only way they could do that was for Het to do the unthinkable. He peeled his Tusken mask off and revealed to Anakin that physically, he was human. The two reconciled and made their way to their base. Ashrad swore not to reveal Anakin's secret, though, telling him that if he did not come clean, the hate would tear him apart inside. And it was his duty as a Jedi to be honest. As the war progressed, Ashrad was granted the rank of Jedi Master and served as a general at the siege of Seleucami, led by Oppo Rancisis and Quinlan Voss. It was during this intense campaign that Ashrad met the young Jedi Knight Zion and Mersu. The two became very close, yet the feelings for each other were cut short when the young Jedi sacrificed herself to help end the conflict, Ashrad swearing he would remember her until the sands cover all. It was this loss that sent Ashrad's heart ablaze and his dragon howling in rage. After leaving the war-torn world, Ashrad went to command what he hoped would be his final battle of the war after hearing of Count Dooku's death. Little did he know that this was the beginning of the end for everything he held dear, and another transformation was on the horizon. During the fall of the Republic, the Jedi Order was destroyed. Order 66 swept across the galaxy, and many of the Order's greatest warriors were lost. Ashrad, though, was not one of these beings. Ashrad was away on a scouting mission when the order was given, and after seeing his fellow Jedi butchered, fought his way through his former squad and acquired a ship. Ashrad felt betrayal like no other, and his inner dragon burst forth once again. Thinking himself the last remaining Jedi, Ashrad made his way to the only place he could truly live again, Tatooine. After making his way to the deserts, an old fire rekindled in Ashrad. He once again took up his Tusken heritage and became leader of several clans of Tusken raiders, once again making the race of warriors a feared force to be reckoned with. Het became more aggressive and cruel, and slipped very close to the dark side. One day, however, while Het and his warriors were on their way to take an old moisture farm, Het encountered a being he never expected to see again. Master Het, the Force be with you, Master Kenobi. So, you too survived Order 66. I thought I was alone. What brings you to Tatooine, let alone these trackless wastes? You do, Master Het. You lead these Tuskens as their warlord. Not something a Jedi should do. Don't lecture me, Kenobi. We were both generals in the Clone Wars. warlords for a republic that turned on us. Past mistakes do not justify current ones. The danger is in becoming what you fight. It was the trap the Jedi fell into. It is a trap that takes you now. You must stop. You must see that, Asherad Het. I do not. I was raised to manhood amongst the Tuskens by my father, Sharad Het, the greatest Jedi of his age. He taught me to think and act as a Tusken. These are my people. Will the settlers stop killing Tuskens? Then blood calls for blood. The settlers will be forced to abandon their land or be buried beneath it. I cannot permit that. You were a great Jedi, Het, and the son of a great Jedi. But you have given yourself over to revenge. It stops here. You will have a Jedi funeral, Master Kenobi. That, I promise. Green streaks and blue fans crackled throughout, and the battle was on. After being disgraced and humiliated in front of his people, Asherad begged for death. Obi-Wan spared him, though, and made him swear never to return, hoping the young man would find his way again. Asherad became a bounty hunter and pursued his victims to the ends of the galaxy, up until, while on the planet Korriban, dealing death to the criminal Resk, Het heard a whisper in the dark. A voice, cold as ice, spoke to his very soul, compelling Het to open a sealed door in the depths of the Sith tomb. There, Asherad was visited by the spirit of the ancient Zozan, one of the first of the Dark Jedi exiles who came to Korriban centuries before. After showing Het her holocron, she offered to train Het in the ways of the Sith. Het, seeking revenge on the galaxy that betrayed him, accepted, hoping to use these teachings to destroy the Sith. Little did Het know that once the dark side has you in its grip, it is nearly impossible to resist. Het devoured the ancient Sith's teachings, learning ancient Sith arts and abilities that magnified his power. However, once he emerged from the tombs, he realized that he had spent years in the halls of the temples, and that the Sith and the Empire had been defeated by Luke Skywalker and the Rebel Alliance. Distraught over losing his chance for revenge, Asherad fled to the unknown regions, determined to lose himself. During his travel, Het was ambushed by creatures the likes of which he had never seen before. They captured him and strung him to an organic brace that caused unimaginable agony. After they replaced his mechanical arm with an organic limb, Het was visited by the long-thought-to-be-dead Jedi, Vergere. She revealed to Het the nature of the creatures that had imprisoned him, and began instructing Het more in the ways of the dark side. During his time as the Vong's prisoner, Het was subjected to the most unimaginable forms of torture in existence. His eye was replaced by that of a Yuuzhan Vong creature, and he had Yorick coral implanted in his very body. During his agony, Asherad's rage burned brighter than it ever had, his dragon threatening to consume him entirely. However, instead of submitting to the dragon, a far worse fate occurred. Het became the dragon. Opening up his mind to the dark side, his inner demons burst forth, but Het embraced them. In those moments of agony and rage, Asherad was transformed into a being of darkness, and then he received his vision. A vision of fire and death, where he led a massive army of Sith, crushing all those who dared oppose them. Enveloped in his new power, the new Darksider swore he would rebuild the Order of the Sith and crush the Republic once and for all. Vergere abandoned him, not seeing him as the apprentice she desired. Het escaped, though, using his new powers to destroy the Vong and commandeering a ship to escape. Returning to Korriban, the new Sith Lord began his plans for the galaxy. Asherad Het had died on that ship, and Darth Krayt was born. Krayt quickly began building his order within the walls of the Korriban temples, their presence shielded by the dark side energies of the planet. While he ruled unquestioningly, Krayt assigned a Sith regent to help him manage the order. Family of powerful Shagrians, all of which served as Krayt's voices, and who all carried the family name, Warlock. As the years passed by, though, Krayt ran into a problem. The Vong seeds implanted in him were threatening to consume him from the inside out. On top of that, Krayt's lifespan was beginning to stretch far longer than the average span of a human. Not wishing to see his dream for galactic dominance die with him, Krayt sealed himself in stasis, intending to keep himself alive until a cure could be found. Finally, in 130 ABY, Darth Krayt's One Sith Order emerged. After scattering the Jedi Order and nearly destroying the Galactic Alliance, Darth Krayt took the Imperial throne as his own. However, the remaining Jedi in the Alliance continued to resist the Sith's control, and Krayt's illness was getting worse. He confessed to Warlock that in his current state, he would have a decade or two at the most before his body finally succumbed. In desperation, Krayt sought out the knowledge from the holocrons of Darths Endedu, Nihilus, and Bane, in hopes that the past Sith Lords would be able to help him. The ancient Sith revealed little though, and even went as far as to torment Krayt with a vision of what he could become. It was during this time though that Cade Skywalker was brought to the attention of Krayt. One of the last of his lineage, Cade was said to have the ability to heal the most grievous of wounds. Krayt captured the young man in hopes that he would be able to turn him to the dark side and have him cure his affliction. Unfortunately for Krayt, Cade resisted, and after Krayt killed the Jedi healer Hosk Trilus, whom Cade had attempted to rescue, Cade escaped from the Sith Temple. Krayt was enraged beyond belief, his one chance at a cure slipping through his fingers. He knew that if he died, his order would fall to infighting, same as the Sith of old. However, Krayt's chance came again, as not long after, the ancient Jedi Celeste Morn, who was possessed by the spirit of the ancient Sith Carnes Mur, who offered to heal Krayt. Krayt and his warriors departed to Had Abandon to meet the ancient Sith. Once they were face to face, Krayt demanded Mur show him he was capable of healing him. As a gesture of goodwill, Mur began the process. This turned out to be a trap though, as Cade and his friends burst forth, intended to kill the Dreadlord once and for all. The battle was long and fierce, and Krayt and Mur were left at a standoff in a heated struggle of Force lightning. The battle ended when former Jedi Azlyn Rae stabbed Krayt in the back, leaving him vulnerable to Mur's onslaught. Krayt was blasted with Force lightning, and his body was flung over a cliff where it plummeted to the ground. Though the pain was excruciating, Krayt managed to wrap himself in a protective bubble of Force energy at the last moment and save his life. As Warlock approached what he thought to be his dead master, Krayt revealed that not only did he live, but he saw how he could be healed. Warlock instead subjected Krayt to fatal torrents of Sith lightning, and Krayt was presumed dead. Krayt was betrayed by the one who should have been loyal above all, by the one whose sole duty was to be his voice and confidant. However, the Dragon of the Sith was not done just yet. It takes more than death to stop Darth Krayt. While many thought him dead, Krayt drew his spirit inward, completely masking his presence while his body healed. Mur was foolish to begin the healing process. In his arrogance, he inadvertently showed Krayt how to perform the ability. In the bowels of chaos and fire, Krayt unlocked the true secrets of the dark side, clawing his way back from death while at the same time healing his physical body. Calling on the mind of the faithful Darth Talon, Krayt escaped his stasis prison. After Talon brought him to Korriban to finish his recuperation, he revealed to her and Darth Nihil that he had secretly grown an army of Sith troopers who were loyal above reproach. After his healing was complete, Krayt revealed how powerful he had become. No longer were the seeds hindering him. His power came in full force. There was no doubt about it. His power had surpassed Endedu and Nihilus. His power had grown to surpass even Mur. Using his power to touch the dark side at its purest, Krayt touched the minds of every Sith in the galaxy, letting them know their master lived. Marching on the Sith temple with his troops in tow, Darth Krayt engaged Warlock. The two Sith battled in a fierce display of dark side power, but in the end, Krayt showed Warlock the price of treachery. Having regained his control of the Sith, Krayt set his sights once again on Cade and his mission of controlling the galaxy. During the Battle of Coruscant, Krayt engaged Cade for the final time, dominating the young man's will with his own. Krayt informed Cade that once he destroyed the Jedi, he would eventually take Cade's body as his own, so he could live forever. In those moments, Cade realized his destiny, and with a quick surprise attack, ended Krayt's rampage. Cade knew it wasn't over, as Krayt's spirit continued to torment Cade, saying his body would heal, or he would take Cade's body as his own. Cade knew there was no other way. He threw Krayt's body into the sun with the added intention of doing it to himself. However, the spirit of Luke Skywalker was able to convince Cade that his destiny did not have to end here. As the ship flew into the sun, Cade watched from afar. Darth Nihil, the new Dark Lord, took the Sith into hiding, and the Jedi once again took back the Republic from the Empire. Darth Krayt's life ended the same way it began, under the blaze of the raging sun.